Most people don't understand what cybersecurity really is, which is fine. I don't know shit about fixing an engine, but I don't walk up to a mechanic and tell them that we don't need mechanics because engines these days are built to break anyways. So don't waste your time trying to fix them. In this video, I want to explain arguably the biggest problem in cybersecurity I've experienced working as a cybersecurity professional, explaining why. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll understand the why. And if you can get to the point where you understand the massive scope of cybersecurity's why, then you can excel in it.
The best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
And convince others why it's needed. This was heavily stressed in all the cybersecurity classes I've taken. And the reason for it is cybersecurity is not a money maker. It's a cost center. Getting businesses to spend money on something that isn't going to provide a tangible return on investment in the form of profits is difficult. Even with large businesses with a lot on the line, it can be painful to explain why and get told it's not in the budget. Funny enough, when shit hits the fan, all of a sudden the budget magically appears. When I was in my networking class, my senior year of university, we had a weekly assignment where we had to analyze network traffic in an elk stack for a local government. Having my head still very much up my ass at the time, I mindlessly did assignments and didn't emphasize understanding why we were doing the write-ups. Yes, finding odd traffic and documenting it seemed necessary, but in hindsight, knowing what I know now, the purpose of that assignment was to get us to understand why we were spending time analyzing network traffic to begin with, to prevent losses by a breach, but also to document that something was seen, and if something bad were found, documentation shows that attempts were made to contain, remediate, to prevent this type of malicious activity in the future. Yes, it all seems simple enough. Obviously, you want to prevent breaches, right? No sister luck. Data loss, account compromises, which can all lead to tangible monetary losses through bad publicity, legal fees, non-compliant fees, insurance costs, etc.
I'm all out of money!
But unsurprisingly, we still have people who say shit like this. Cybersecurity should go extinct, dumbass. Oh man, in cybersecurity, it's a constant battle of explaining to people. The position should be called security explainer, honestly.
Who is this?
Oh, this is my corporate translator. He's here to translate all the corporate jargon into words that I can actually understand.
All right, I'm gonna have to align with HR to see if this...
What's he saying? He's saying he's upset by my presence.
It's a constant battle of explaining to people why what you do is necessary, why the cost is necessary, why you need to update or upgrade your shit yesterday, and why, despite what doomers will say, having people whose job it is to understand the risks and mitigating controls involved in every aspect of the business and their tech stack is a necessity. Claiming that cybersecurity as a profession shouldn't exist is probably the stupidest claim I've ever read in my entire life. And I've gone down some conspiracy rabbit holes aplenty. Bugs in code are just one aspect of cybersecurity. This part, right here, just this tiny little part. Yeah.
Dumbass!
But first, a word from our sponsor, Incogni.
Are you tired of the scam calls and emails? I sure as heck am. Even if you practice perfect OPSEC, are cautious with what websites and businesses you give out your personal information to, like address, phone number, email, social security, and even the things we don't consider, like what relatives are linked to you, shopping habits, religious beliefs, finances. Your data is exposed everywhere, and it feels like every other day another data breach is announced. And it's not stopping anytime soon. Once your data is out there, data brokers, companies that collect and sell your data without your consent, automatically scrape it up. AI is making it faster, better, and downright scary how easily your personal information is available to criminals who use it in scam calls and emails. Do you have any stalkers? I wonder if I do. Ew. Anyone who wants to know more information about you, like employers, landlords, or people you make angry on the internet, can potentially learn a lot about you very easily. Incogni helps you remove the data from all the data brokers auto-magically, and it's as easy as it gets. Once you sign up, you just put your info in to find matches, and Incogni does the rest. Within minutes of signing up, Incogni sent out data removal requests to hundreds of data brokers, and just as quickly as the requests went out, data removal approvals were confirmed. It's that easy, folks. So I can rest easy knowing that even if someone finds my name, it's that much harder to find anything else about me. So if you're interested in making your personal details harder to find, check out the link down below for an exclusive 60% discount, a 30-day money-back guarantee with code madhatirl. Now I want to give you a list of some examples of controls that typically require a person who's knowledgeable enough to the point where they have to specialize in it in this specific niche or aspect of cybersecurity.
I'm learning. Aw, way to go, Ralph.
So if you struggle like this very special person, you can get a taste of why cybersecurity is needed. Locking down access to all company resources via conditional access policies. The control. These are if-then statements that evaluate a user's identity, device health, and location in real time before granting access to sensitive company files. Or something similar in identity management, a stolen password is potentially all an attacker needs. And I think most of you watching probably know by now how many data breaches have leaked passwords. With proper policies in place, an attacker cannot log in because they're not on a company-owned managed device or are trying to log in from a blocked country, or they didn't satisfy the MFA method, which is hopefully passkeys at this point. Set up passkeys. Now, return on investment, it prevents a catastrophic financial and reputation cost of a breach by ensuring that even with valid credentials, either stolen via man-in-the-middle or directly in a credential harvesting webpage, yes, people still are stupid, cannot be used from unauthorized or unsecure environments. So that even when, not if, all the ID tentees who are going to click that phishing link, no accounts will be breached as a result. Now the cost here of implementation is moderately difficult, but not really if you've got a dedicated identity engineer to ensure that policies are in place and do not lock out the entire organization.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
All it takes is one misconfiguration from an eager beaver intern. Additional costs are generally baked into the licensing, like Microsoft's E5, plus the salary of the specialist. Something that I will be covering in my new website, by the way. Check it out. And now, as proof of why this is important, some of you might have heard of the MGM Resorts breach that occurred when a cyber criminal group, Scattered Spider, neat name bros, used dark web provided credentials and some LinkedIn reconnaissance to socially engineer an IT help desk employee, socially engineered where the attackers convinced the employee to reset multi-factor authentication on a highly privileged Okta account, which, if you don't know, Okta is an identity management platform which has similar policies like conditional access policies. Once they had access, they moved laterally and caused a whole bunch of havoc. Policies like conditional access, if they had enforced device compliance, where you can only sign in from devices that are company-owned, registered, and managed, would have prevented this because they didn't have access to the employee's computer, just their account, remotely, in some non-extradite country most likely. You could have also had location and network protection, meaning they can only authenticate on this privileged account from a trusted corporate network or secure corporate VPN. And if the attackers tried signing in, they would be blocked because they're not on that network. Super simple. And yet, so many companies don't have it. Even mandating something like passkeys, phishing-resistant MFA, on privileged accounts at the very least would have prevented this because the employee would have to register the passkey on something they own on their device or via YubiKey. Preventing it because you're required to be near the device you're signing into. Another example, continuous penetration testing. This is a scheduled simulated attack by ethical hackers to find exploitable weaknesses in your network, in your code, in your websites, in your employees through social engineering. The risk here, security is a moving target. Without regular testing, you won't know how a new software update opened up a back door. Despite what this idiot insists on, software devs put a lot of emphasis on preventing it. When software gets to a certain size, you can't always account for every single thing. Bugs will be found, and it's possible criminals will find it first if you don't have regular pen testing. The return on investment here, identifying low-cost fixes before they come high-cost disasters. This avoids massive remediation fees and legal liabilities should an exploit actually be used and all hell breaks loose. Now, the cost of implementation of this is, again, moderately difficult to coordinate, but requires an external firm, or if you're a massive company, an internal dedicated red team. So costs could range anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000 per engagement on average, or the salary for an in-house expert. Now again, to prove why this cybersecurity niche is needed for a business, let's look to the Equifax breach, which if you don't know about that, come on, read a news article now and then. This thing was massive. In 2017, attackers exfiltrated, stole data of millions of customer records from a credit reporting agency, Equifax. I did do a tier list video that ranked this breach amongst other breaches, but long story short, the company was breached via the customer complaint portal, where attackers used a widely known vulnerability that should have been patched, but did not due to Equifax's failure of having a patching process in place that actually did something. The attackers were able to move from the web portal to servers because they weren't adequately segmented from each other, where they were able to find usernames and passwords stored in plain text. Oh boy. Needless to say, if they had regular, even yearly, not even quarterly, just once a year, pen testing done and pen testing engagements done, then they could have prevented what was essentially a textbook progression of initial access, enumeration, lateral movement, and exfiltration. Now, I could go on with every control that you have to consider in every cybersecurity niche that requires a vast amount of knowledge and specialization to be good at it, but that would probably take about 10 hours to explain because there's that many cybersecurity niches. In every aspect of life, every subject you study, every job you might have in your lifetime, you'll run into these very distinct types of people. Those who don't know enough about a subject to be able to speak on it and don't even know anything related to the subject, but still talk like they know what they're talking about because they read something somewhere, and they talk in a way that makes it seem like they know everything about that subject. And if you tell them they're wrong, they'll ignore you and continue dying on the hill that I affectionately refer to as the peak of Mount Stupid. So you could try to explain to them, but it's like talking to a wall. It's not worth your time. These people literally are not worth talking to. And I don't know if they'll ever take the time to learn what they need to actually be able to see that they're wrong. Now, the other type of person, which is arguably more annoying because you sometimes have to engage with them. I have one of these guys at work and he is insufferable. The other type of people are those who know a little bit about a subject related to the thing that they're talking about, the other subject, and they know enough about that subject to maybe use some correct terminology, but will make an outlandish claim, a blanket statement because they're generalizing a subject and don't know the nuances and the sea of things that go into it. And they will also die on the hill that they're claiming. These misguided fools are mostly driven by two common misconceptions about cybersecurity. Misconceptions as in wrong ideas. As in, they're too stupid and stubborn. I'd say they probably land somewhere in this area of the graph, but because they do big brain stuff in this subject, they think that they can speak about this subject. Now, if you pair this mindset with a superiority complex, you've got the C-suite, who you unfortunately have to convince to spend a decent chunk of change on cybersecurity controls and a dedicated cybersecurity team, either internally or outsourced. It is not going to be cheap to mitigate the risk that you have in a business. And most of the time, risk acceptance is not an option. Most things need controls. It just only gets fixed when shit hits the fan. Poetic. You might be wondering why this concept of explaining to people why having a dedicated SOC team or a regular penetration test done or staying in compliance with frameworks like PCI DSS or HIPAA is important to you. And you're probably someone who's watching this video because you're interested in potentially pursuing a career in cybersecurity, or maybe you just want to know a little bit more about cybersecurity and why it's important. While you might not ever be the one who has to sell the C-suite on setting up a security team or setting up a contract with a managed security service provider, you have to understand how the role you're going into helps the business, as that distinction will show you understand the why, which is important in an interview, and as you expand your skill set into bordering cybersecurity niches. And honestly, everybody needs to understand cybersecurity and its importance. We're not ever going to get to 100% secure in any business, but having people who say we don't need it at all is just asinine.
I need